Boles 400 freestyle swimming right here. We only got the last 125 meters or so of the race filmed. You're our first race of the meet, kind of our guinea pig, figuring out how this system worked. So I'm going to play the race, well, what we have straight through, and then I'm going to go back and talk about some specific technique things that I noticed. So this is just for you to be able to kind of see the race straight up without pausing it and slowing it down. Okay, so 5:20:38, first time swimming the 400. Split wise, you're 115, 121, 122, and 120 by the hundreds. Breaking it down even more, by 50, you're out 35, then go 40, 40, 41, 40.99, 41, 40, and then a 39. So for the most part, pretty consistent. A little excited maybe on the first 50, but you holding on to essentially 40 highs and 41s. I think it's fine, especially like I said, for your first time swimming the 400. Looking at the technique in particular, notice throughout the race, or I guess here at the end of the race, your left hand enters very short. So you're still in the breath here, and your hand has hit the water before your head has even been able to recover and looking down again at the black line. So what we need to do is make it a little closer to what the right arm is doing and reach up here a little more than having the stroke be so short right there. All right. The right arm's not perfect, but if the left arm can do at least what the right arm's doing, we'll be moving in the right direction. Also, with the feet while you're kicking throughout the race, you have a nice steady kick throughout the whole race. Strong drive from the legs for the duration of 5 minutes and 20 seconds is really good. I think it speaks to the kind of shape you're in. But right now, your kick is a little inefficient because you're coming so high out of the water with your feet. We got to have it where your feet are just coming to the surface, but not where your whole foot, like the whole top of your foot is out of the water here. And it does that through a lot of the kick during the race. Like the part right here where it's above the water and it's coming back down into the water, that split second doesn't actually help propel you in any way. And it's also putting you at a slightly awkward position for you to be able to kind of roll your leg up in this position. So the feet should be coming just to the surface, kind of making that water boil, but it shouldn't be coming all the way out of the water. So think about when we're doing kick sets in practice, really keeping the feet in the water. All right, taking a look here at the flip turn, if we can. Okay, flipping motion's pretty good. I'd love to see you get a couple of kicks in there, even though it's a distance event. Utilizing your underwaters is always a good thing. And then here, the very first stroke you take is into a breath. I'm not saying you need to hold 5 strokes off the wall before you breathe, but what you can do is hold the breath through this right arm stroke and then take a left arm stroke. Actually, your first stroke shouldn't even be with your right arm. Hold on. Yeah, so your first stroke actually needs to be with the left arm. So a couple things to switch here is, first of all, taking the first stroke with your left arm and then holding the breath to be on the right side. So it should be you take a stroke here with the left, and then with the right arm stroke, you take a breath. So the breath to the right can stay the same so long as you take left stroke, right stroke off the wall. Okay? Now, coming back this way, I want you to take a look at where your hands are exiting the water by your hips. So they both do a nice job at flicking nice and low, so you're finishing the stroke all the way through the water by your hip. Right arm exits pretty close to the body right there. The left arm, however, I feel like kind of slips out to the side a little bit. So what you want to do, think about like flick drill, is when you're finishing by the hips, you're really flicking that water out, and here it feels like you're coming a little bit wide and exiting with the pinky a little bit more than finishing with the palm towards the back of the pool and flipping upwards. Like I said, with the kick being a nice strong kick throughout the race, you have a nice solid tempo and consistent tempo throughout the race. As we continue to improve, reaching the stroke and finishing through the hips, all that type of thing, we also got to think about staying strong up front and underwater and not slipping. So as you come back, well, I can fast forward it a little bit. So notice there, same thing on the turn with the right arm breathing. But underwater here, notice you're not, like you taking a breath here. Oops. Did you take a breath there? No, hold on. Okay, so you're taking a breath here. I know it's hard to see, but your left arm is all the way kind of maybe in line with your chest, fingers pointed towards the bottom of the pool before your head is back in the water. So we got to continue to think about gliding the hand up front, holding the stroke before we take the breath. That will help us avoid slipping during the stroke. One final thing, you're circle swimming this whole race, and you're actually circle swimming it on the left side, which is kind of weird. Swim straight up and down the middle. When you have a race, a lane to yourself, no reason not to swim exactly down the middle on top of that black line. But again, really nice job. First 400 free ever. I think we have a lot of room for improvement. I'm excited to see what you can do as we go throughout the season.